Hello, my dear friends. How are you? This is Dr. Leticia Ximénez. Welcome again, or welcome for the first time. For those of you who are seeing me for the first time, I just started posting videos. Actually, my first post since a horrible automobile accident that I had, where I had uh, among lots of physical injuries. I also had concussion and concussion to my brain and traumatic brain injury. And I had to learn how to communicate again, how to read and write again, just how to be me again. And so I now more than ever am very excited to and very grateful to have the opportunity to be here with you and share with you the many things that I have learned along the way, and in the hopes that they will help you as well. My name is, again, Dr. Leticia Ximénez, and I am a psychologist. I have a doctorate in clinical psychology with an emphasis in couples therapy. And I am an empowerment coach, a speaker, and a trainer, and a consultant. So I am, again, very grateful and honored that you are here now. And I thank you for your patience and your support. And definitely, I hope that this is helpful to you. So we're going to take things slowly because not only because I think that it's something that would be helpful. I want to make sure that people understand the material and the different things that we're going to be talking about. Because, as I said before, if you haven't seen my previous my two previous um, videos, right? I talked about how there's a mind shift, right? We're talking about a different mindset. The whole idea of starting again, not over. To start again, not over is all about taking control of your life, right? Living more intentionally, more consciously, right? And taking the driver's seat, and uh, so that you can create the life that you want to create, right? And by using what I call my SANO method, the SANO method, the three principles of empowerment. And these three principles of empowerment are extremely powerful. They're very, very not only helpful, beneficial, but they're very, very powerful. And they're very important to understand and to learn how to apply. But more importantly, is to want to apply them, right? Because we nothing will change if we don't make the intention to change it, right? We talked about this before. If we continue to do the same things, to think the same way, then we're going to continue feeling the same way, we're going to continue acting the same way, and we're going to continue getting the same results, right? And so if you want to have a different life, if you want something better for yourself in whatever dimension of your life, in maybe one dimension of your life or many dimensions of your life, we'll talk about the different dimensions of well-being and so forth as we move forward. But in your private life, in your professional life, in your health, your finances, all of those different things, right? How is it that things are going in your life? And for the most part, sometimes there are some things going well, and then some things maybe not going as well as we would like them to go, right? And so what I want to talk in this video about is about the thoughts that we have. And because it starts with our thoughts, right? Now a thought is has like frequencies, right? A thought is something that we can pay attention to, or we can just let it go. You can focus, right? Focus your attention, our principle number one, right? Attention. And for those of you that haven't seen the videos on that, the SANO Method, the three principles of empowerment, are very simple, as I said, very powerful. And three words that are important to remember: attention, intention, and action. Right? Attention, intention, and action. So the you want to pay attention to what you want. Very, very important to understand that. You don't want to pay attention, you don't want to focus your attention on the problems, on what's going wrong, which is usually what we do, right? Again, it's a mind shift, right? We're learning to think differently, learning because the we want something different. So we want to pay attention, focus our attention to what you want, right? Focus your attention on what you want. Make the intention to have what you want, right? Principle number two: make the intention to have what you want, right? What is it that you want? Make the decision, make the declaration, to have what you want. And if possible, do it in the present tense, right? Not just, well, it helps if you say, well, I want to be healthy, right? I want to be able to present, for me, right? I want to be able to present. I want to be I want to be happy. I want to find a love in my life, right? And that sorts of things. But what you want to do is declare it as if it was already here. Declare, this is what I am. This is my intention. My intention is this is what I am here now, right? Because here and now is where all of our power is, right? Here and now. And when you are present, when you are mindful, when you are in tuned to who you really are in the moment, that is very powerful. And so that's what we're doing. And so when you make the intention to be that which you want, all right, I am happy, right? I am presenting. I am in love. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I mean, whatever it may be, right? If you can do it in state it in the present tense, and then that's even better. But if not, just you can say if it doesn't feel right, because the main thing is how you feel. We're going to talk about emotions and all of those sorts of things, right? Because you want to see how you feel. So you want to do something that feels right, because if you don't believe it, then if it doesn't feel right, then you're not going to believe it. And if you don't believe it, then you're not going to know it. And if you don't know it, you're not going to be able to create it. Does that make sense? And so, if it's easier for you to say, my intention is to be happy, to be in love, to be wealthy, to be whatever it may be. That's perfectly fine, right? Baby steps, right? Baby steps. I had to learn, we want to be patient, right? Patient with ourselves, baby steps. Because that's how we learn to walk, right? Then we learn to get up, and then we, holding on, and when we're learning to walk, and as little kids, right? As toddlers, we're like finding our balance. So this is what we're doing. We're finding our balance in this new arena, in this new way of thinking. And so, little by little, we are able to stand up, and we're able to, holding on to something, on something that feels good, right? That feels secure, that feels safe. And then, then we'll be able to kind of let go and then try it. And, just remember, if you have kids, it's easy for you'll be able to see this, but you remember, if you've ever had kids or been around kids, right? Then you know what I'm talking about, right? If you've ever seen a child, right? So anyway, that's how you feel is very, very important, very, very important. And then, of course, the third principle of empowerment, right, and our SANO method is action. Action. Take action towards what you want. Very, very important, right? Take action. And you want to take inspired action. But you can see how, as you practice this, right? As you practice this, just as when we learn how to walk, and then we walk a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and then we start running, right? As you practice this, you see that when you pay attention to what you want, and you focus your attention, you focus your energy on what you want, right? And as I said before, like Tony Robbins says, and a lot of people say it, but I heard it first from Tony Robbins. So he says, where focus goes, energy flows. Right. And remember that where focus goes, energy flows. As soon as I heard him say that, it resonated with me, right? Because it's so true. Whatever you focus on, right? Wherever you put your attention on, that you're giving it energy. You're putting yourself, you're putting your presence, your consciousness, your intention, right? You're putting your whole self, your energy into this that you are focusing on, that you are paying attention to. So it's very, very important to focus your attention on the positives, on your desires, on your wishes, on your dreams, on your purpose, on what feels good now, on what you like, on what you want, right? Those sorts of things. Very, very important. So attention, intention, and action. That's what we're talking about. And so, have you ever heard of about how many thoughts people have per day? Have you ever heard of that? There's been a lot of studies and stuff like that, but for the pretty much most of the people, when I ask people, well, about how many thoughts do you think people have per day? And people start with like, well, probably like about 50, 100, probably like, 500, or no, I think they have like 1,000, those sorts of things. So do you have any idea? You can put it on the chat, and on the comments, if you'd like, if you think you know what it is. But uh, I'll tell you, the most people, on average, the average person has about 50,000 to 70,000, 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Think about that. 50,000 to 70,000. So the average person has about 60,000 thoughts per day, right? Around 60,000 thoughts per day. And I'm sure that most people, if you're here because you want to, because when you heard, start again, not over, because, you're thinking, I want to, I want to I want to have a better life. I want more for myself. You're here because you want to improve some area, at least, one area of your life, or you want to be able to help other people and so forth. So I'm pretty sure that most of us here have a lot more than 60,000 thoughts per day, maybe even way more than that. But anyway, so most people have about 60,000 thoughts per day. Now, the interesting thing is, and very, very important to understand, is that about 80% of these thoughts, about 80%, and these are the studies, psychological studies that have recorded this and so forth. But anyway, the about 80% of these 60,000 thoughts per day, guess what? You think they're negative or positive? They're negative. Yeah, yeah, they're negative. About 60,000 out of these 60,000 thoughts per day that most people have are 80% of them are negative, are negative. And because we are used to, this is what we are programmed, this is how we are programmed to think. This is what, if you've, if, if any of you have heard of Don Miguel Ruiz and the Four Agreements, he wrote the Four Agreements, The Mastery of Love, lots of really amazing books. But one of the most famous ones is the Four Agreements. And a lot of people don't know that he also wrote the Fifth Agreement with his oldest son, Don Jose Ruiz. And so if you haven't read that one, I highly recommend it as well. But the Don Miguel Ruiz, he says that we have these agreements, right? We have these agreements the programming, he calls it agreements, these agreements that we have made that we have agreed to, but unconsciously. Well, we had to agree to them because when we were little, we had no choice. But now that we are, that we are older, now that we are adults, now that we are not little kids anymore, we actually can decide, right? Can analyze, can decide whether we want to continue with those agreements or not, right? Because a lot of these agreements or these mental, programs, this cognitive programming that has been going on is for the most part negative. We are taught to think of, to be careful, to be aware, to be afraid. We're taught to think of all the things that could go wrong, right? To wait for the other shoe to drop, even when things are going well, right? We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're always, if you think about it, the most of the things that we think about are negative, and that's what we've learned to do. That's what's common, right? That's what's comfortable. That's what we're used to, right? But just because we're used to doing it, and just because we have been doing it, again, it doesn't mean that we have to continue doing it. And that's the beauty of this, right? So again, out of these 60,000 thoughts per day, 80% are negative. And guess what? 95% of these thoughts, about 95%, are repetitive. Repetitive. We keep thinking the same things over and over and over again, right? That's why we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And as I said before, that's why I'm passionate about this, this message of starting again, not over, because we want to start here, right now, where our power is, right here, right now, where your power is. What is it that you want, right? Focus your attention on what you want, make the intention to have it, and take action towards it, right? And so that we can stop making the same mistakes over and over again. If you find yourself doing that, if you find yourself thinking, and a lot of people say, well, I feel like I don't have control of my thoughts. And we do. We have control of our thoughts. We're going to keep talking about this more and more. So stay tuned. But it's very, very important to, I'm starting here because it's important to understand the process. It's important to understand what's going on, right? Understand, so that if we understand the process, then we can we can control it, right? We can interrupt it. We can move it forward. We can, help it, or we can, or we can change it, right? We have control. Again, we have control. We take control of our lives. And so it's important to understand, this is what these are the statistics, right? This is what these are the studies, the psychological studies that have been done. But again, we here, as we are co-creating together, we are starting again, not over, together, and helping each other and supporting each other. We are here because we do not want to be a statistic. We do not want to be a statistic. We do not want to be a just normal, right? You don't want to be normal, because this is normal. This is normal. Normal is having about 60,000 thoughts per day, and 85% of them are all negative, which means that only 15%, of anything, are positive. And almost 95, about 95% are the same things over and over again, the same negative thoughts over and over again, right? And so we're here because we don't want to be normal. We want to be, we don't want to be just ordinary, right? My intention here, and my intention in myself, in my life, and my intention for you is to help you be extraordinary, 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 right? And extraordinary is moving beyond that, right? Understanding that this is what's going on. And when we understand that what's going on, the other thing too that helps understand this, not just to understand the process, but it also helps us be, a little bit more mindful, less critical, less judgmental of ourselves, right? I hope that this will be for you, because most of us tend to be, we're our worst critics, we're our worst judges, right? And many times we talk to ourselves and we treat ourselves worse than we wouldn't even treat anybody else the same way, the way that we treat ourselves sometimes, right? And so it's very, very important to, as we understand this, like, oh, no wonder, right? No wonder. Oh, this is what's been going on, right? This is, I've just been, you've just been programmed to think this way. You've been, you've been, you have this mindset, because that's the way that society, just society, the media, the just everywhere, right? It's all about negativity, right? The news, everything is just negativity. So now you understand, okay, that's what's going on, right? So you don't have to, you can be more compassionate, more understanding and compassionate, have more compassion for yourself and for others too, right? Again, for others too, because we're all in this together, right? We're all in this together. Now, this is why attention is imperative, right? This is why the first principle of empowerment is extremely important, because we want to pay attention to what's going on. We want to pay attention to the process, right? To all of this. And so that we can learn how to, what's going on and how to use it to our benefit, right? Again, this channel, everything that I do is to help people, right, remember and recuperate and learn and start using the power that they have, right? Because you have this amazing power, this amazing computer that's right here. And even though some of us have had these traumatic brain injuries, these concussions, these all these horrible things that physically have damaged our brains. I had to learn how to reprogram my mind, right? Create new neural pathways and so forth. So this is what we're talking about here. These are the things that I had to pay attention to as well, right? So I am an English major. For those of you that may not know, when I was in undergraduate school, I got a double major in English and psychology. So I love literature, and I'm just letting you know because I just love just I you we learn a lot, right? Our writers say a lot about what's going on in society at the moment, right? So they say a lot about us, about who we are or who we were back then, and so forth. So anyway, T.S. Eliot, for those of you that have heard of him, T.S. Eliot, very famous author, he said, every moment is a fresh beginning. And you probably have heard that before, right? Very famous quote of T.S. Eliot. Every moment is a fresh beginning. Now, what I say is that between every thought is a fresh beginning. Think about this. Between every thought is a fresh beginning. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? It's between every thought, right? Between every thought is an opportunity for you to start again, not over. Use the SANO method, right? Focus your attention on what you want. Make the intention to have what you want, and then take action towards that which you want. Between every thought, we have the opportunity to go in one direction or to go in a different direction, right? You decide. And between every thought, it's a fresh beginning. It's an opportunity to start again, not over. Now, every time, if every day, if you do the math, right, which I have done, don't worry, I've done it for you already, but think about this. Every day, if you have about 60,000 thoughts per day, and then you think about how many hours you're awake and so forth, we technically have about one thought per second. If you have about 60,000 thoughts per day, right, which is the average person, you have one thought per second. One thought per second. Now, as we said, many of us have a lot more. We probably have one thought every half second, right? Every half a second. Think about this. So between every second, so that means that every second is an opportunity to start again, not over. Every second. So if you forget this, if there's something going on and something happened and you heard of something or you saw something and you just got distracted and you went into your normal negative thinking or whatever it may be, that's okay. Because now, 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 every second, you have the opportunity to start again, not over. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that beautiful? I hope that you are as excited as I am, because when I did this and I did the calculations and so forth, and I just realized, like, oh my goodness, it's not just between, like, every minute there's a fresh beginning, every second. In 1 minute we have 60, an average of 60, opportunities. In 1 minute we have about 60 opportunities to start again, not over. Now you say, well, wait a minute, but my thoughts just go, like I can't stop them, and things like that, right? But again, one step at a time, right? It's all right if you think that. It's just start thinking about what this means. Start thinking about, right? Pay attention to what you just heard right now in these few minutes, right? The fact that we have, about 60,000 thoughts per day. The fact that most of those are negative and repetitive, because that's how we've been programmed to think, right? But now you're not just anybody. You're here. You're here, right now, learning about how to, right? Learning a method, right? A strategy that, and the information you're learning about, the process as to how this works. And it just seems to you think it's automatic. You think that it's automatic because it goes so fast, because you're used to doing it fast. But we're talking about, what people, what in psychology it's called metacognition, right? We're paying attention to the way that we pay attention. We're paying attention to our cognitive, to how our cognition works, to how our mind works. And so you are not the same person that you were 30 minutes ago. Right? Now you understand, now you know, how many thoughts, how many, what's going on, and why it's been this way, right? And the fact, but the beauty is that you know that you can change it. You know that you can change it, and you know how by using, this, by starting again, not over. Remembering, you're not starting over, you're starting again with this new information, with this new understanding, with this new strategy, with this, right? With this support, with this energy that, from all of us here, right? From me, from the energy that you are receiving as we speak, right? If it resonates with you, think about, again, pay attention to how it feels in your body. Don't just listen to me. Don't just accept what I say or what anybody says, right? It doesn't matter how many degrees they have or anything like that. Does this feel good to you? Does this feel right? Does this feel empowering? Does this feel energizing? Right? That's what you want to pay attention to that. And if it resonates with you, it's then your body, your mind, your spirit, it's telling you, yes, this makes sense, right? When you say, yes, this makes sense, that I understand this, or I think I understand this, even if you don't understand it very well. But if it sounds like it's making, like it sounds right to you, then you want to pay more attention to that, right? And anyway, so I hope that this excites you as much as it excites me. I wanted to talk about this, and the again, you can see it as something negative, like, oh my God, we have 60,000 thoughts. How in the world am I going to control them? What am I going to do? Oh, no wonder, that sort of a thing. You can go on that, in that route. But you don't have to, right? Again, it's all up to you. right? You are in control. You are always in control. Nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do or anything like that. You are in control. You decide. And I hope that this is encouraging to you, that this is exciting, that you're understanding, and together with this information and with this new understanding of how we're starting again, not over, how we're using the SANO method, how we are empowering, right? You are empowering yourself. You are, remember, you are recuperating, and you are utilizing your power by, with these three principles of empowerment: attention, intention, and action. So, right, I welcome and I invite you to, if you have any comments, if you have any, if this resonates with you, how you felt about it, what you thought about it, did it excite you? Is this something that you think, that you will apply, that you'll at least think about, right? Contemplate. That's, that's important. And are also, if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you would like for me to cover as well, I won't want to I want to share with you so many things that I have learned, and so I have a lot of different ideas, and definitely I welcome any thoughts, any ideas that you may have. I'm please, I am here to. I'm just very, very honored that you are here. Thank you again for your patience, for your understanding. And as always, I send you lots of love, lots of blessings, lots of positive vibrations to you and all your loved ones. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.